Did your landlord just inexplicably keep your security deposit? Or, hey, maybe a contractor is flat out refusing to pay you the $5,000 they owe you. Well, if you're sitting there feeling totally overwhelmed by the mere thought of fighting for your money, you are absolutely in the right place. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to completely demystify the Hawaii small claims court process. We're turning dense, boring legal rules into an empowering, straightforward guide so that literally anyone, even a complete beginner, can navigate this system like a pro.
Look, it's incredibly frustrating, right? You absolutely know you're in the right, but the barrier to actually getting your hard-earned money back just feels like this giant, impassable legal wall. Well, stick with us because we're going to show you exactly how accessible this legal weapon really is for everyday Hawaii residents. Small Claims Court is built specifically for you, not for high-priced corporate attorneys. All right, so here is our quick roadmap for today. We'll start with a small claims overview, then move right into preparing your claim, filing your case online, serving the defendant, mediation and court hearings, and finally, a really important legal disclaimer.
Okay, let's jump right into part 1, the small claims overview.
First things first, we've got to establish what the small claims division can actually handle because, not every disagreement belongs here. For your standard money disputes, we're talking unpaid invoices, broken contracts, or maybe getting back some leased personal property, Hawaii caps small claims at a strict maximum of $5,000. And just a quick note, that cap does not include interest or court costs. So if the core amount someone owes you is exactly $5,000, you're perfectly fine. Just remember, this court is meant purely for financial disputes, not for, say, forcing someone to stop doing something or dealing with severe personal injury cases.
Now, hold on, because there is one massive exception to that rule that you need to know about. If you are a tenant and you're fighting over a residential security deposit, there is absolutely $0 limit, none. Small claims is literally the exclusive venue for these disputes in Hawaii. But here is the most fascinating part. To keep the playing field totally level, licensed lawyers are strictly prohibited from representing either party in security deposit cases. No exceptions. It's just you, your landlord, and the judge.
Moving right along to Section 2, preparing your claim.
Before you go rushing off to alert the court or the person you're suing, you need to gather your arsenal and double-check your timeline. Trust me, doing the prep work now saves you from getting tossed out on a technicality later. So first, confirm you're actually filing within the legal time limits, what lawyers call the statute of limitations. In Hawaii, you get a pretty generous 6-year window for written or oral contracts, but only 2 years for property damage or personal injury. Got it? Okay, next up, gather all your evidence. Texts, emails, the lease, receipts, the whole shebang. Finally, you have to figure out the right geographical division or venue. Generally, you have to file in the judicial circuit where the defendant actually lives or where the rental property is physically located. You definitely can't just file on Oahu if the defendant lives and the whole dispute happened over on the Big Island.
All right, Section 3, filing your case online.
So, your evidence is locked down, your venue is selected, let's actually initiate this lawsuit. Hawaii has actually modernized this whole thing significantly. They use a mandatory online dispute resolution pilot program, they call it ODR, and it's powered by an app called TurboCourt. So instead of driving all the way down to the courthouse and standing in line, this system just guides you step by step through a bunch of questions. It automatically generates all the required forms for you, and you can even pay the $35 filing fee right there from your computer. $35. It's actually one of the most accessible filing fees in the entire country. Now, if you happen to not have internet access, you can apply for a digital exemption. And if they grant that, you'll physically submit Form DC-06, which is the statement of claim. Whether you're filling this out online or on paper, precision is everything. You need to concisely state exactly who owes you money and the specific dollar amount. Pro tip here, always use their exact legal name. If your contract is with, say, Aloha Roofing LLC, do not just write Aloha Roofing on the form. If you do, you're just going to create a massive headache for yourself when it comes time to actually collect your money. When you file, you also absolutely have to include the mandatory ODR notices. Because this is an online pilot program, you have to serve the defendant with these specific notices that tell them, hey, you have exactly 14 days to register on the TurboCourt system once you receive these papers. The whole idea here is to push both sides to negotiate or maybe mediate a settlement online before anyone ever has to step foot inside a physical courtroom. Which brings us to Section 4, serving the defendant.
Okay, here's a crucial point. The court literally cannot do anything. They won't even schedule a hearing until you successfully complete the official notification process. Legally, this is known as serving the defendant. And here is the catch. You cannot just walk up and hand the legal papers to the defendant yourself. Absolutely prohibited. You've got to use an approved method. You can hire a professional civil process server, use a police officer, or just ask any competent person over 18 who is not involved in the lawsuit. For some specific cases, you can even use certified mail with a return receipt. But whatever route you take, you have to make sure the defendant gets proper legal notice at least 48 hours before the scheduled court date, and you must file proof of that service with the court.
Section 5. Mediation and court hearings.
So let's say the online mediation through TurboCourt didn't work out, but you did successfully serve the defendant. It's time to prep for the final confrontation in front of the judge. And listen, preparation here is literally everything. When you go to trial, strictly follow the rule of 3. That means you bring one physical copy of all your evidence for yourself, one for the defendant, and one for the judge. Definitely bring witnesses, but make sure they're people with actual first-hand knowledge of what happened, no hearsay. Now for a couple of major don'ts. Do not assume you can just appeal if things don't go your way. Small claims judgments in Hawaii are final, no appeals. And like we touched on earlier, do not bring a lawyer if your case is about a residential security deposit.
Let's look at how this all actually plays out in the courtroom. This quote from Hawaii Revised Statutes Section 633-32 is honestly one of the most important takeaways from this entire explainer. It states that the court shall conduct the trial to do substantial justice, and is not bound by the rules of evidence. That is huge. This powerful little statute proves that the system really is designed for everyday citizens. It gives the judge the power to skip over all those confusing legal technicalities, bypass strict evidentiary objections, and just focus purely on what is fundamentally fair based on the facts you present.
All right, let's wrap up with Section 6, Important Legal Disclaimer.
We have covered a ton of ground today, right? Everything from dollar limits to online filing and courtroom prep. But please keep in mind, this explainer is strictly for educational purposes. We've distilled the core rules for you, but the law can be incredibly nuanced. You really should always consult with a licensed Hawaii attorney for specific advice on your exact situation, especially if you run into weird complications with serving someone or if the defendant hits you with a massive counterclaim.
Well, now that you've got the complete roadmap to navigate Hawaii's small claims court, you know the process is approachable, it's structured, and it is totally manageable to do yourself. You have the tools, you know the rules. So the only question left is, when are you going to take that first step and go reclaim what is rightfully yours? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, good luck out there.